Welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft Season 6. We're at the Witch Farm, and fun little fact for you, I had recorded like the first 7 minutes of this episode, and then I decided to scrap the entire thing. I came up with a really crazy, ambitious project for the spawn chunks. I've locked myself in. And then anyway, after investing a load of time planning it and building it, I kind of felt like actually I got carried away with a simple idea and it wasn't so great. So, starting this episode over again, and I know exactly what we're going to be doing, but the spawn chunks ain't going to be it. I'm actually talking to the other hermits and we're sharing ideas. So my thinking here was that I could close it and then walk in, but of course that trick doesn't work the other way around. It's kind of paranoid about a zombie pigman walking in here while I'm AFK and swiping the sword, and I'm the only one on the server at the moment, and it's been that way for quite a long time. So when we drop down here, we should see lots more drops. It's not a crazy amount, is it? Basically, this farm isn't that great, and I need to rebuild it. Anyway, got a load of comments saying, why don't you use Mumbo's farm? Because it takes the fun out of having your own farm. That's my answer for you. I like having my own projects and be able to tinker with them, and we certainly need to do some tinkering over here. And we won't be doing that today. We're going to focus on the Shanty Town. We've kind of got 3 big projects in rotation at the moment, and I feel like actually this one we could finish because I have realised what the final touch this project needs. Now, if you haven't seen the Shanty Town in a while, we've been building up what had sat here for a long time, putting roofs on, developing the inside, so there are now these little buildings and pathways between them. And in doing that, I had this idea that we would build like a rock, or you could call it a mountain, but it certainly won't be as big as anything like that. But a rocky formation here made out of sandstone, and that's what this village is built around. Now, I'm doing things kind of in a backwards order here because I figured out a law that makes this build make total sense, right? What if there was something of value inside this mountain right here? Then it makes sense why this little shanty town has been built around it, and it kind of looks like fortifications as well. So what we're going to put inside of this sandstone mountain is a cave entrance somewhere, and then pirate gold and treasure. And then that's what all of this is defending, right? I think that is going to make so much sense. You're going to come into this build and it's really just going to all tie itself together. So we are going to complete this project in distinct phases, and the first one is to bring the sand of this area around the entirety of the outside of this build. If we're going to have a sandstone rock, it really needs to be surrounded by sand on all sides. So I've kind of come in and placed the basics of that and then built up the wall. This is going to kind of hint at where some of the rooms will be on the other side. So that will be part of our second phase. But I have been thinking, this area, I might just transform the entire thing and make it sandy. So it's like one giant beach. Although the further up here it comes, maybe the sand gives way to another material. But yes, I'm thinking about building in this area and doing even more stuff around here, but that's a total distraction, right? We've got to get inside this build now and start working on the paths and the little rooms in here. So that's the second phase. We want to get these in place and all of the rooms finished. Alright then, so how does it look? This really didn't take too much time at all actually, because there was just such a tiny amount of work to be done. We got to come back in here and put in the details and finish up a few things like that later on, but I am dead excited to get into building this rocky formation in the middle now. So as you can see, the path goes round and I put in the border of the sandstone blocks. I need to go pick up some more, but then we can start building it, and I think I'm going to put an eye in the sky, have a camera account looking at this thing while I'm building it so I can get an overall sense of its size and its scale. And then I've been thinking about the entrance. Originally I wanted to put it over here on this side, but this is the entrance to what is a fortification, so surely the actual entrance should be over on the opposite side, and I think right here makes a little bit of sense. We could tear out a few blocks, have the path dip down a little bit. There's just the right amount of space, so this is potentially where the entrance could be. Well, there it is, our sandstone rock. And this thing's very near to being complete now, which is kind of crazy because it had sat in this sort of sorry state for a long time unfinished, and then all of a sudden it all just started to come to me. what we needed to do. So the finishing touch is going to be... Oh, bow. I need a bow. I saw a creeper. Yes, things would have spawned in here. It's a good thing I brought some torches with me. Okay, quick check to see we haven't got another creeper. And then let's get them to fight each other, maybe. There we go. There we go. Fight each other. Hang on, I'm in a corner. This could be very bad. I need to make an escape. Whew. Okay, that was kind of close. I was careless. Alright, we can light this thing up now. So in here, the next thing for us to do is to create a cave with some treasure in the middle. This is going to be a real challenge, but I've got an idea, and I think it's going to start off with water. I think we'll have a collection of water in the middle, and then like a little island with a chest on it and some gold blocks around it. I think that's the way to go. And now, my friends, we have stepping stones, because I had a little bit of a change of heart as I was putting this together. I think it'd actually be kind of cool to go across the water to the other side and then have some sort of centerpiece here. Obviously there'll be a chest, but I think like some gold pillars and some treasure lying around is the way to go. So if we just look ahead here, notice how all the blocks around the side look really nice. I've been throwing in lots of different ones and creating the shape, and then as we look upwards it gets a little bit ugly. So I need to pillar up and go through all of these and just add in more slabs and more stairs and get rid of those lighting glitches. And while I'm up there, I'm also going to grab some vines as well and have them growing down from the ceiling. I think that could look really nice in there. I love this armor stand book because we have the copy and paste feature. So now my two guardians here can be identical. And my friends, what heads shall we put on them? Something piratey? Parrots and pirates? I love this. Okay, here we go. Yes. Yes, that looks wonderful. Alright, that's got me thinking though. We could use more player heads in here from the statue of Hermity, which we can just about see if we jump. So I picked up a couple of gold blocks and gold ore ones, and the placement isn't particularly satisfying, but I just feel like I've maybe exhausted my creativity right now. I do want to do a few more things, like leave some gold nuggets on the ground using armor stands, and I put a sword into the sand like this, which kind of looks cool. But I think what I'll do is come back and do a pass around the whole project on a live stream, something like that, and finalise all the details. But we can now say pretty much this project is finished. My friends, what we need is a name for this area. Every time I fly over here, I find my brain trying to find the words to describe this place, and I'm not sure what ones they should be. What is the name of this project? Do you have an idea? Leave a comment. Let's try and figure out a name for this place that we can start calling it. Anyway, in the last episode you would have seen me building up these walls to define the boundary and then working on the sand that goes right up against the river, and it looks glorious and wonderful, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out so far. But now we've got to work on the path on the opposite side, and I've been digging out the terrain behind it and then finding that this doesn't look so great. Can you see how the path kind of like diagonals and slants? That's where I'm keeping it in line with how these walls stagger backwards a little bit, and it doesn't look so good when we do that on this side. So what I'm going to do is kind of have a straight path going all the way around, and then it'll do that to the sort of corner point and then turn. It'll probably make more sense once you actually see it, but this could stagger into the side, so could that, but they will meet like this. Then what we're going to do is on the inside we're going to have all of our sand, and on the opposite side is where we're going to start bringing some structure to this area. It'll be just some simple slabs to begin with, but then from those slabs we can start to build up more of the foundations for this area. I feel like the best way to show you all of this is with the camera account. And as you can see, I'm just going around and I'm putting in lots of sand, and I really enjoyed messing around with this using different textures, having little bits of it group up against other blocks. Sometimes it drops down a bit as well, and it's actually this side over here that I like the most. It feels a little bit strange because we're talking about essentially randomized blocks being thrown into place, but over on this side I think I meant maybe have gone a little bit overboard with some of the dips in the ground and the piling up of blocks. But overall, it looks pretty good. And also, the path here is 3 wide. I made a mistake. Originally, it was 2 wide, and I went back and double-checked over in this area, and we've always done it 3 wide, so that has been accounted for. And then right here, you'll see that there is like a little overhanging bit where I haven't built a path yet. I reckon this would be an absolutely great spot to put a statue. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a very simple statue, right? Maybe it could be a little bit better. That's supposed to be a log across the back, but I've changed it for a kelp. It's a kelp log. Which is a thing I just made up. And yes, look, this is like 5 blocks wide and the statue's 2, so it's off-center. And I figured before I go and change out this whole platform so we push all of these across by 1 block, I think I'm going to just let it sit there, because that's a bit of a brief idea that I've had, and maybe we could build something more glamorous if the right idea comes to me. So what we need to do next is start to work on layout. It's going to be a case of putting down some paths, putting down foundations for more skyscrapers, and then the bits in between. But the first thing we're going to start off with is a storage room in this area. Now you might be thinking that under the towers this would be a perfect space, and it would be. However, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this, because we are actually going to move the drops that come out of these farms somewhere else, and that is to resurrect the idea that we have over here with the pipes. That's been very popular this season. I always get great feedback about it, and I'd like to continue that project into this area over here. As you can see, I've sort of been planning out where one of the pipes goes on that side and where one goes over here, and then I've just been putting down the basics of where the paths might go and what the foundation for this storage area could be. Now the reason that I want to set up a storage area is not just to store the drops from the farms, but to store stuff like this. As if we look over the area, you can see there's a lot of terrain that's probably going to get ripped out and transformed, and so I kind of wanted to have a permanent place to put things like this, because I've just created a mess of chest monsters and I want a proper room in which to store all of that, which is going to be inside of this building, which I will now build up. It's been a busy few days for me. I started recording this episode 3 days ago, and I've had nothing but disruptions and interruptions and not so much time to play. I wanted to get this so much further ahead than what you're seeing right now, but I did say that I wanted to build this storage video and show it to you, and there it is. So we've gone for dark oak, and the trapdoors we put on the side this time are a cha-cha wood. And you know, I always think that orange, that baked bean orange, goes really well with those logs. So I'm kind of pleased with that, and I'm thinking about what are we going to do in this project? What's my benchmark for this episode? Because I am running out of time and I want to get this episode up for you on Saturday. I will probably be able to do that, but I'm going to have to scale back my ambition a little bit here. Don't think we're going to be doing the interiors of this building today. And originally when I set out to record this episode, I wanted to have like all the foundations down for this entire area, and as always I'm reminded of how tedious this game can be sometimes. So we are going to get water inside of these pipes. There are 2 of them. They're going to go into the building, and then we're going to kind of create a transition between that area and this area here and leave it as kind of wasted space, you know, space that's not being used. And I'm looking forward to doing that because I've got several ideas for how we can fill in the spaces in between. But this one in particular is to create a transition between 2 areas, which is of course going to be very important. Now one of the things we'll be doing is putting in our classic dark oak pillars to hold this up with all the blocks around. I'll space them out nice and neat and even, and then there'll be one extending upwards here to hold this across going to the other side. In fact, we'll probably have maybe 2 in this space and 1 just over here before we go to this building. With this pipe I'm not so sure. Maybe we'll have 2 supports, 1 here, 1 over there. They might be a bit close together. I'll figure it out. But anyway, let's just take a stroll around to this side of the building. I've got a whole bunch of trees here to chop down. There's one other thing that I wanted to mention, that there are 2 days, today and tomorrow, left of March if you're watching this on the day it went up. And if you saw the last episode about my Patreon merchandise, this month and next month is the last occasion to get your pledge in and get some of the merchandise that is going to be retired, the posters, the figurines and all of that. And let me say, the posters that are going to replace them are absolutely gorgeous. I am so excited to show you them, but it won't be for a couple of months. So it's like really amazing lined up for that. My goodness me, this is taking forever. It's been about 40 minutes just to make this one pipe. I mean, it's so intricate and there's so many little details, and you've got to put in ice hidden inside the blocks and put trapdoors in there and put fence gates in there as well, and soul sand to bring the items up. Anyway, this is totally functional, by the way. It's properly going to move the items across into this area. Now we just got to do this pipe here next. Okay then, with our pipes taken care of, I think it's time for a break from this area And you know what, we're going to head into the shopping district because I keep getting comments about checking for my diamonds. Loads of you want to know what's going on with that, and truth is, yeah, I've kind of neglected it for a while because it feels like we do it a lot. So since it's been a while, we'll hop over there and find out how many diamonds we've made. First of all though, I've got to tidy away my inventory. Oh, and this absolute mess of shulker boxes. Okay then, what kind of diamonds have we made here? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Just 4 diamonds at the kelp shop. That is a beautiful building over there, my friends, but I think my favourite shop of all will be the turtle one, just because of the whole turtle Asuma thing, and I loved all the decorations that we did here. Every time I come to this area, I just want to enjoy the entrance, and I always want to show you that on camera, because I like it that much. Anyway, coming into the shop, the money maker is, as always, the bone blocks. These things always sell. And we have made 16 diamonds out of that. Excellent. When it comes to restocking, I'm just going to do that stuff off camera. And that is super freaky. What's going on? I seem to be stuck. Thanks. Please don't tell Doc, but I've been pretty lazy with restocking this shop. Turns out it's quite a bit of hassle to go around and reset all of the XP furnaces. So there are no profits in this building. However, walking up to here, I noticed that this was just randomly turned into grass. How rather odd. If you haven't been watching all season, and like this is new to you, then it's always good to get a refresher. I don't know why that door is open. I think it's because people usually walk up to the middle and expect the entrance to be here. That's the exit. That's the entrance. There's no reason for the door to be open. And what was that? I think that was Doc's Subway, which runs very close to this. Yes, there's a wonderful little room leading up to the shop. My friends, this is the real money maker for us this season. We got 140 diamonds here. That is incredible. That's a total of 160 for this round. And for the entire season, that brings us up to 1,601 diamonds from the Hermitcraft economy. So Minecraft 1.14, we're going to be able to automatically shear sheep, and that is going to enable me to bring the price down in this area, because I could possibly build a sheep farm in the spawn chunks. I'd need the approval from the other hermits because it would put entities there, but the iron farm would effectively be dismantled, or at least the villagers would be taken out. So there could be room to put some entities back in the spawn chunks and not really affect the server performance too much. One of the things I want to do though is be able to change the colours of the wool that we are harvesting, because the way we set up our current farm is that we essentially harvest all of the colours, and some colours are not as popular as other ones. So for example, I don't need to pink restink. I don't need to restock the pink wool, but for example the grey wool I definitely need to do. So I'm actually going to pick some of these shulker boxes back up. Any of them that have nothing in or just less than a full stack are ones that I need to go and get more of. By the way, I took the time to light up the Shanty Town. There's a torch in every single room. Maybe I shouldn't put them in every room, but now this thing glows, and I'm going to adjust it so it's not quite as bright, but it is a very nice effect. And I very much love that project. And speaking of projects and love, look at Scar's area over here. This thing is just amazing, and the evolution of his building ability continues. I mean, somewhere around here there is now a pirate village being built, and there it is. Of course, the world is loading funky because we want to check it out. And here it is, my friends. Absolutely incredible. Let's just drop down here a little bit. Scar never ceases to amaze me with his building. He is truly a talent. And my friends, if you are not subscribed to him, you know exactly what you need to do. This is just incredible right here. Well, this place has changed. I think I remember watching False do this on a live stream. There you go, decoration coming soon, so our portal is bound to get fancier. Anyway, if you've never seen this project before, again I'm going to show it to you, because as you might have guessed, I'm going to AFK. Is that new? That might be new. But yes, I'm going to AFK at the sheep farm, and the way that we get there is flying across the void, which is always a little bit precarious. Ha! Looks like someone has built an Enderman farm over here. Hang on, I want to get some of this free XP. That's a lot of XP to be lying around. How peculiar. I guess someone walked away with loads of it in the area. This is kind of weird. I am not picking up any more XP now that I've hit level 50. And there's XP orbs flying around me. Anyway, while I'm here, I'm going to get some free repairs. Oh my god, Elytra! 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 Oh! Oh! Oh, jeez! Okay, right. Oh, my goodness me. So here we are, back at this old place for possibly our last AFK session over here. And when 1.14 hits, I'm probably not going to upgrade this because to me it makes more sense to have this in the overworld now. Take a trip to the area, combine it with another farm because you can just sort of be in the area and load the sheep. But for now, we're going to load this thing up full of shears. It looks like it's all empty. And we're going to get ourselves some more wool. Another thing that'll be great in 1.14 is we won't have to mess around with doing all of this, setting up the player, having to do the AFK overnight stuff with the clicker. And I've got to be careful here because I don't have Depth Strider on. Well then, my fate is sealed for between episodes. I will be shearing as many sheep as I can. And I do hope that you have enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like. As always, thank you for doing that. It supports the channel. And I'll be seeing you very soon with another episode of Hermitcraft. So ciao for now. Bye-bye.